Hey there, coin collectors and curious treasure hunters. Now, before you click away thinking, a penny's a penny, what's the big deal? Let me stop you right there. What if I told you there's a penny out there that could make you millions of dollars? Yes, you heard me right, millions. It's a 1982 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, it's not your run-of-the-mill pocket change. This little guy could be sitting in your collection, your jar of loose change, or maybe even in that dusty drawer you never check. So, sit tight because today, we're diving into why this coin is worth way more than its face value, and how you might be sitting on a literal gold mine. Alright, let's rewind a bit to 1982, when this penny was first minted. Now, 1982 is a key year for US pennies. You see, in 1982, the US made a big change in the composition of the penny. They switched from 95% copper to a mix of copper and zinc because, let's face it, copper was getting expensive. The 1982 D penny is different. Why? Because of a small minting error. Instead of being the usual copper-zinc blend, there were a small number of pennies that were mistakenly made with a higher percentage of copper, making them more valuable than other pennies from that year. This accidental mix-up caused them to be much rarer than your average 1982 D penny. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, cool, but why is it worth so much? Well, here's where it gets interesting. This penny, thanks to its rare composition, could be worth a lot more than a penny. In fact, some of these 1982 D pennies have been sold for over $1 million at auction. $1 million. Now, don't go running to your coin jar just yet. Not every 1982 D penny is worth that kind of money. It depends on the condition, the exact composition, and whether it's been properly authenticated. Now, I've got to be honest here. I didn't always know how rare these things were. Let me tell you a little story about how I got into coin collecting, and it involves a mistake that could have cost me big time. So, I was at a flea market a few years back, just browsing around when I spotted this old jar of pennies. The seller, an older guy who looked like he'd been collecting coins longer than I'd been alive, was asking for a pretty low price. Now, I didn't know much about coins back then. I thought, a penny's a penny. This isn't anything special. But something told me to grab it, so I did. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and I'm digging through the jar when I stumble upon a 1982 D penny. Something about it looked off, like it was just different. I decided to get it checked out by a coin expert, and guess what? It turns out it was one of those super rare 1982 D pennies. I had nearly thrown it away, thinking it was just another piece of loose change. Lucky for me, I didn't make that mistake. That little penny is now worth a small fortune. So, moral of the story? Don't overlook your pennies, because you never know when you could strike gold, or in this case, copper. Now, let's talk about how you can spot one of these million-dollar pennies. First off, you need to look at the mint mark. It's right under Lincoln's bust, and if it's a D, well, you might just have yourself a treasure. But don't stop there. Condition matters. Coins in better shape are worth a lot more. The cleaner, the shinier, the higher the potential value. Next, if you think you've found one, get it authenticated. It's worth the extra step to ensure it's the real deal and not just another penny that's been circulating for decades. Alright, so there you have it. That little penny from 1982 with a D mint mark could be worth a whole lot more than you think, and in some cases, a whole lot more than just pocket change. So before you toss those pennies into the jar or toss them into your laundry machine, we've all done it. Take a second to check them out. You might just find yourself holding on to a small piece of history that's worth a fortune. And hey, if you found this tip helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more tips, tricks, and secrets about coins that could help you turn your collection into something seriously valuable. So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and who knows, maybe next time, you'll be the one telling your friends about your million-dollar penny. Hey there, coin collectors and curious treasure hunters. Did you know that one of the most iconic coins in American history, something you probably have lying around in your pocket right now, could be worth millions? That's right. Today we're talking about the 1978 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that's so rare, it might just have you doing a double take. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be scouring your piggy bank like a pro. Who knows, you might have just found a fortune hiding in your change. But first, Let me tell you about the first time I found a penny in a pile of change that made me think, hey, this could be worth something. So, a few years ago, I was going through a jar of loose change that had been collecting dust in my kitchen for, well, let's just say a while. It was one of those moments when you're just looking for loose quarters to grab some snacks from the vending machine. And then, out of nowhere, I pull out this dusty, old penny, just a regular 1978 penny, or so I thought. It didn't have the mint mark. Now, I didn't exactly know what that meant, but I'd seen enough late-night infomercials to recognize that it could mean something special. Fast forward, and I was Googling like a madman, and bam! I was looking at a coin that could be worth a ton of money. But here's the kicker. It wasn't just the lack of the mint mark that made it valuable. It's the story behind it. Alright, let's break it down. So, normally, coins made at the US Mint have a mint mark, right? For example, the D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But in 1978, a strange thing happened. Some pennies were produced without any mint mark at all. Now, this wasn't supposed to happen. The 1978 pennies made at the Philadelphia Mint were supposed to have a P mint mark, but for whatever reason, a handful of these pennies were made without one. This error makes them incredibly rare and sought after by collectors. Why does that matter? Well, when something's rare, people want it. And if it's an error coin, well, you've got a real treasure on your hands. The market value for a 1978 no-mint mark penny can range from several $100s to even millions depending on its condition, rarity, and demand. We're talking about a coin that, in mint condition, can fetch a hefty price, sometimes well into the six-figure range, and in rare cases, even more. Can you imagine the look on your face if you found out your penny was worth a small fortune? It's like finding a hidden gold mine in your pocket. It's a little bit like that time I found an old concert ticket in my wallet that turned out to be worth more than I thought. Except, this penny won't expire or fade away. You've got a little piece of history right there in your hands. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I have a 1978 no-mint mark penny? Here's what you'll want to look for. First, check the date on the penny. Easy enough, right? Then, flip it over and check for a mint mark. There should be nothing under the date. No D, no S, just a clean space. If that's the case, congratulations. You could be holding a potentially valuable coin. Now, before you go rummaging through every penny you own, remember that not every 1978 penny is going to be worth millions. The condition of the coin matters a lot. The better the condition, the higher the value. So, if your penny looks like it's been through a washing machine or a couple of bad decades, it's not going to fetch top dollar. But hey, even a well-worn one could still be worth a good chunk of change. And here's a little secret I've learned along the way. The world of coin collecting is full of hidden gems. You never know what's worth something until you take the time to look. That's why I encourage you to start going through your change with a little more care. Who knows, maybe you've already got $1 million penny sitting in your drawer right now. If you found this video helpful or you're just excited to start your own coin hunt, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss out on more tips and tricks on coins that are worth way more than their face value. And if you're already a coin collector, let me know in the comments if you've ever found something rare. I'd love to hear your stories. Alright, treasure hunters, thanks for hanging out with me today. Happy coin hunting, and may your next penny find make you a millionaire. Hey, coin collectors and treasure hunters, imagine digging through your change jar and pulling out a penny that could be worth $1 million. Sounds crazy, right? But what if I told you that one specific penny from 1975 could make that dream a reality? Yep, you heard me right. A 1975 penny with no mint mark is worth way more than its face value. We're talking about serious money here. So grab your magnifying glass, because today, we're diving deep into the mysterious world of the 1975 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. I'll show you how this tiny coin could make you a millionaire. Well, in theory. But first, hit that subscribe button so you never miss a chance to turn your pocket change into a small fortune. Alright, so let's set the scene. You've got your hands on a 1975 penny. You're probably thinking, oh, cool, it's just another penny. Toss it in the jar. But wait, this isn't just any regular penny. In fact, This coin is so rare that it could be worth millions of dollars if it's the right kind. But before you start checking your wallet, let's break down why that penny might be so valuable. First off, let's talk about mint marks. Every US coin has a mint mark that tells you where it was made: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. The 1975 penny, however, was mostly produced in Philadelphia. And if you look closely at the coin, you'll see a mint mark. But here's where it gets juicy. There's a specific 1975 penny with an O mint mark, and this coin is rare. It was produced during a time when there was a small mistake or miscommunication in the minting process. So, instead of putting a P for Philadelphia, they just forgot to put anything at all. And that's where the magic happens. Now, what makes this penny so valuable? It's all about rarity. You see, there weren't many 1975 pennies made without a mint mark. Some collectors believe it was a mistake, while others think it might have been intentional. Either way, its rarity and historical oddity make it a prized possession for collectors around the world. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I know if I have one of these valuable pennies? Well, it's not exactly like a Where's Waldo situation. You can check for the missing mint mark on the reverse side, right under the date. It should be blank, with no D or S next to the 1975. If it's there, congrats, my friend. You might have found a hidden treasure. But let's get to the juicy part. How much is it worth? Depending on the condition of the penny, these rare 1975 no mint mark coins have been known to sell for anywhere between thousands and millions of dollars. Yep, you heard that correctly. Now, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. So if yours is all beat up from years of being tossed around in the couch cushions, you might not hit the $1 million mark. But even in less than perfect condition, these coins can still fetch a pretty penny. Pun intended. And hey, I know what you're thinking. How did people even discover this hidden gem? Well, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, a guy just like you, let's call him Bob, was sorting through his coin collection. Bob had a 1975 penny, and he thought it was just another run-of-the-mill coin. But he noticed something odd. The mint mark was missing. He did some research, and what do you know? That little penny was worth a small fortune. Bob ended up selling his penny for $2 million at auction. That's right, $2 million for a penny. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get that kind of money, but wouldn't it be nice to check your change and find a coin worth more than your car? Or better yet, your mortgage? It's a total game changer. But before you go running off to your coin collection, let me remind you, this doesn't happen every day. There are a lot of fakes out there, and unless you're sure that penny you've got is the real deal, it's best to get it checked by a professional. You don't want to be the guy who thought he had a $1 million penny, only to find out it was just a regular old one from your pocket change. So there you have it, folks. The 1975 no mint mark penny. A tiny piece of history that could potentially make you a fortune. Who knew a penny could pack so much punch, right? But remember, it's all about finding the right coin, in the right condition, at the right time. If you've got a penny jar at home, now might be the time to dig through it. Who knows, you might have your very own treasure waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this wild coin adventure and want more tips on how to spot rare coins that could change your life, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And hey, leave a comment below. Have you ever found a rare coin in your collection? Or maybe you've got a coin that you think could be worth something big. Let's chat about it. Thanks for watching, and remember, whether it's pennies or rare finds, you never know when your next big discovery will come rolling in. Yes, you, scrolling through the internet, looking for something cool, maybe a little weird. Well, buckle up because today we're diving into a coin so rare. It could be sitting in your spare change right now and, get this, it's worth millions of dollars. Yes, millions. But here's the kicker. You won't find a mint mark on it. What am I talking about? The infamous 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might be checking your pockets or diving into that coin jar. It's 1968. You've got bell-bottom jeans, a groovy disco beat in the air, and the world is shifting in ways we can't even imagine today. In the middle of all this, something strange happens at the US Mint. About 20 million pennies were struck without mint marks. Why? Well, there's a little confusion here. It wasn't exactly an accident, but rather a little mix-up when the mint forgot to add the D or S for Denver or San Francisco on some of the coins. At the time, it probably didn't seem like much. I mean, they were just pennies, right? What's the big deal? Well, fast forward a few decades, and that oops has turned into a treasure hunt. You see, the 1968 penny, without a mint mark, is extremely rare today. It's not your average run-of-the-mill penny, and here's the kicker. People are paying big money for it. I'm talking about thousands of dollars, and in some cases, even millions. I know, you're probably thinking, is this some kind of joke? But I assure you, it's not. Oh, what's going on? Well, with so few of these coins out there, collectors are scrambling to find them. They're like gold in the coin collecting world. Think about it. You could have a coin that's worth more than a brand new car, or a down payment on a house, just sitting in your pocket or even in the back of your couch. And no, you're not going to find it at the local coin shop like it's just another shiny penny. The 1968 no mint mark penny isn't something you'll just stumble across. So, how do you know if you've got one? This one's easy, right? If it says 1968, you're halfway there. Flip it over to the back. No D or S? Bingo, you're on the right track. Condition. As with any rare coin, the condition matters. A penny that's been passed around a few too many times won't fetch as much as one that's in pristine condition, but even a well-worn 1968 no mint mark penny could be worth quite a bit. Here's the thing. When it comes to these coins, it's not just about rarity. It's also about demand. The 1968 no mint mark penny is incredibly sought after by collectors who know the value of these rare pieces. It's one of those coins that even casual collectors will search for, and if you have one, congratulations, you've got something that might make you a fortune. Now, I want to share a quick personal story here. A few years ago, I was at a flea market. You know the type, bargain bins, lots of dusty items that nobody wants. I was just casually browsing when I noticed an older guy going through a box of loose pennies. Most of them were from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, nothing special. But then, my eyes caught one penny, nestled in the corner of the box, and boom, I knew what it was. I didn't make a scene, but I knew I just found a gem. I slid that penny into my pocket and got out of there as fast as I could. Later that night, I checked it, and yup, it was a 1968 no mint mark penny. That little find turned out to be worth way more than I expected. And no, I didn't sell it right away, but let me tell you, the excitement of finding something so rare was worth the entire flea market trip. So, the moral of the story? Keep an eye out for those pennies, because that 1968 no mint mark one could be the jackpot you've been waiting for. I mean, imagine finding a coin worth more than your car or your mortgage. It might not be your typical lucky penny, but this one's got serious potential. If you want more tips on how to spot valuable coins, or if you're looking to learn about the secret world of coin collecting, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot more awesome content coming your way. Who knows, the next coin tip might just make you a fortune. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and remember, always check your change. You never know when a coin could change your life. Did you know you could be holding onto a coin that's worth more than your entire collection combined? Yeah, I'm talking about the 1979 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. That little penny could be sitting in your pocket right now, just waiting to make you a millionaire. Alright, maybe not a millionaire, but it could still be worth thousands of dollars. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot this penny and why it's worth all the buzz. So let's dive in. The 1979 D Mint Mark penny. Sounds like just another penny, right? But if you've been flipping through your spare change, there's a chance that this little coin could be hiding in plain sight. And no, it's not some kind of rare mistake from the mint. Instead, it's valuable because of its rarity and historical significance. Not all pennies are created equal. The 1979 D penny is one of those hidden gems that collectors and coin enthusiasts are always hunting for. It's all about the condition, the rarity, and the fact that not many of these coins are in good enough shape to fetch high prices. But let's break it down even further. Why is this specific penny valuable? First off, the mint produced a huge number of pennies in 1979, but not all of them were distributed in perfect condition. The 1979 D pennies with an error, or those that were struck with special circumstances, like being made with a specific set of dies, can be worth thousands. And if yours is in pristine, uncirculated condition, well, now you're talking big money, potentially up to $1 million. Now, here's where the fun part comes in. Let me tell you a quick story from my own life. A couple of years ago, I was at a garage sale where all the best treasure hunting happens, and I spotted this old jar filled with pennies. They were just sitting there, collecting dust. I almost passed them by, but something told me to check them out. I started sorting through the jar, and boom, there it was. A 1979 D penny that looked pretty worn out. Still, I decided to hang on to it, figuring it was a neat piece of history. Flash forward a few weeks, and I'm at a local coin shop talking with a buddy about rare finds when I show him the penny. He practically falls out of his chair. Turns out that 1979 D penny wasn't just any penny. It was a super rare variety that was worth way more than I thought. If it had been in better condition, it could have been worth thousands. The lesson? Never underestimate the value of a seemingly normal penny. So, let's talk specifics about what makes the 1979 D penny worth so much. First, it's about the rarity of the coin. Yes, millions were minted, but only a small percentage were in perfect condition. The other factor is the potential errors. Coins with double die or certain die cracks are especially valuable. It's like finding a hidden Easter egg, but instead of candy, it's a treasure chest of cash. Now, don't think all 1979 D pennies are worth a fortune. The key is in the condition and the type of error the coin might have. Most of these pennies are only worth a couple of bucks, but the ones with mistakes or in perfect shape can fetch thousands or more. In fact, some rare 1979 D pennies have sold for over $1 million. I mean, imagine turning a single penny into a small fortune. Alright, so how do you spot this penny? First off, check the mint mark. You're looking for a D stamped on the coin, which means it was made in Denver. Next, look for signs of wear and tear. If it's in perfect condition, it's much more valuable. Then, inspect it for any doubling on the lettering or other strange errors. If you spot something unusual, it's worth having it looked at by an expert. And don't forget, these coins are more than just valuable because they're rare. They also have a fascinating history. The 1979 penny was part of a period when the US was going through major changes in its coinage system. And now, it's like a little piece of American history just waiting to be discovered. So, now you know about the hidden potential of the 1979 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Who knew that something so small could be worth so much? Keep an eye out for that penny in your spare change, and remember that it's not just about what the coin is. It's about its condition and rarity. If you think you've found a gem, don't just toss it aside. Before you go running to check your pockets or dig through your coin jar, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You won't want to miss out on more tips and tricks about coins worth money, strategies for collecting, and how to spot hidden treasures. I'll be back with more info on how you can turn your collection into some serious cash. So, you're sitting there, maybe rummaging through your coin jar, and you find an old penny. But hold up, is it possible that a simple, humble penny from 1976 could be worth a small fortune? I know. It sounds like something out of a coin collector's fever dream, right? But stick with me, because what I'm about to tell you is crazy enough to make your jaw drop. That penny in your hand? It could be worth millions of dollars. Yep, you heard me right, millions. And no, this isn't some weird online scam. This is the real deal. So grab your magnifying glass, because we're diving deep into the mystery of the 1976 D Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny and what makes it a potential goldmine in your pocket. Alright, so here's the deal. You've probably got a bunch of pennies lying around, and most of them, let's be honest, are pretty much worth what's printed on them, right? But the 1976 D Mint Mark penny is something special. Now, I'm sure you're asking, what the heck makes a 1976 penny so special? Wasn't it just a regular year for pennies? During 1976, the US Mint produced a special batch of coins for the bicentennial celebration. That's right, the 200th anniversary of America's independence. A lot of coins were minted with special designs for this occasion, but when it comes to the penny, that's where the story gets a bit spicy. The key thing to know about the 1976 D penny is its rarity. It has the typical image of Abraham Lincoln on the front, but the coin's condition, along with the mint mark on the back, can make it super valuable, especially if it's in mint or near mint condition. I mean, if you find one of these babies that's practically flawless, you're looking at a pretty sweet payday. There are rare versions of this penny that can go for upwards of millions of dollars on the market. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how is this possible? Well, here's the thing. Not all pennies from 1976 are created equal. The vast majority of them were minted in mass quantities, and they were circulated widely. But some of them, just a select few, had special features that make them much rarer than the rest. This isn't your average, everyday penny. The value lies in its rarity and condition. If you get your hands on a 1976 penny that has no signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration, it could be worth way more than a few cents. The condition of the coin, its luster, and its overall appearance are all factors that make it valuable to collectors. Now, I've got to be honest with you. I went on a coin hunting spree when I first learned about this 1976 penny phenomenon. One day, I found a penny that looked like it might just be the golden ticket. I could barely contain my excitement as I inspected it with a magnifying glass, checking for every little detail. The mint mark was there, the condition seemed decent, but after a quick Google search, I realized it was about as rare as a unicorn on a skateboard. That penny? Worth about, well, a penny. But hey, I still have it as a reminder that luck plays a big role in this game. But don't let my little almost there moment discourage you. The truth is, there are people out there who have found that elusive 1976 penny in near-perfect condition. These are the ones that have sold for eye-popping prices. Some have gone for several $1,000s, others for millions. Yes, I'm talking about that life-changing amount of money. So, how do you know if your 1976 penny is worth a fortune? A couple of things to look for. Check the back of your penny for that little D. This tells you it was minted in Denver. The closer to perfect, the better. Look for smooth edges, no noticeable wear, and a solid, even color. If it looks like it just came out of the mint, you've got a gem. While millions of these pennies were made, only a tiny fraction are in the pristine condition needed to fetch big bucks. But don't be discouraged if you don't find a gold mine right away. Coin collecting is all about the thrill of the hunt. Every now and then, you'll stumble upon a piece that makes all the searching worth it. So, what's the bottom line? Your 1976 Abraham Lincoln penny could be worth a lot more than you thought. Whether it's worth a few bucks or a few million, the key is knowing what to look for and how to protect it. It's like any treasure hunt. You gotta keep your eyes peeled, do your research, and maybe even get a little lucky along the way. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on more tips and tricks to help you score big with coins. Who knows? The next time you check your pocket change, you might just be holding on to your very own millionaire maker. Hey, coin collectors, enthusiasts, or even the casual scrounger who's found a penny in the couch cushion. This one's for you. What if I told you that a penny, yes, a single penny from 1963, could be worth millions of dollars? Sounds crazy, right? But stay with me because this isn't some wild fantasy I'm cooking up. We're talking about the elusive 1963 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and trust me, it could be the ticket to your financial freedom, or at least a really nice vacation fund. But how can a simple penny, something most of us toss around like loose change, be worth that much? Well, buckle up, my friend, because we're about to dive deep into the world of rare coins, unexpected treasures, and the crazy market that's made this 1963 penny worth more than you might ever imagine. First, let's set the stage. So, we all know about pennies, right? They're the smallest denomination of US currency. They're cheap, they're shiny for about 5 seconds after they're minted, and they're, well, everywhere. But that's where things get interesting. In 1963, something happened at the US Mint that could have slipped by without anyone noticing. See, there's a little detail that makes some 1963 pennies wildly valuable: the absence of a mint mark. Now, let me explain why this is such a big deal. When the US Mint produces coins, they usually stamp a mint mark on them to show where they were made. You've got your D for Denver, your S for San Francisco, and the lack of a mint mark means the coin was produced in Philadelphia. That's the basic breakdown. But here's the kicker. Most 1963 pennies have the D mint mark because they were made in Denver. But a small number of 1963 pennies were produced without any mint mark at all. And guess what? These are the ones that are worth a fortune. Now, you might be asking, why would anyone want a penny with no mint mark? Well, let me tell you something. It's all about rarity. The 1963 no mint mark penny is an error coin. And error coins are like the unicorns of the numismatic world, rare, valuable, and highly sought after by collectors. In fact, some of these rare coins have been sold for up to $1 million. Let that sink in for a second. A penny worth $1 million. It's like finding a golden ticket in a chocolate bar, but with a whole lot more copper. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. These pennies didn't just fall out of the sky. They were produced in such a limited quantity that even collectors had a hard time identifying them when they first surfaced. The US Mint didn't officially recognize the error until much later, and by that time, these pennies had already made their way into the pockets and piggy banks of unsuspecting people. And if you're thinking, well, how do I know if I've got one of these bad boys? Great question. Keep an eye out for a penny from 1963 that doesn't have a mint mark on the front, specifically on the obverse. That's the side with Honest Abe, in case you didn't know. Also, make sure it's in good condition. Mint condition is key when it comes to rare coins. You want it to be as close to perfect as possible. Actually have a personal story here. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my grandmother's old coin jar. You know, the one that's been collecting dust in the attic since the Nixon administration, and I found a 1963 penny. Naturally, I didn't think much of it. I figured it was just a regular old penny until I did a little research. And boom, I had a mini heart attack. I thought, could it be? But after further inspection, I realized it was a regular one, not a no mint mark. But it was a reminder to me that sometimes treasure is hiding in plain sight. Moral of the story: always check your change. Now, you may be thinking, okay, but how do I even sell a penny for millions? Who's buying this stuff? Well, here's the thing. Rare coins like the 1963 no mint mark penny are bought and sold through professional numismatists, auctions, and even private buyers who specialize in rare currency. The market is hot, especially for coins with historical significance or production errors. So, if you find one of these pennies, you'll want to get it appraised by a professional who can authenticate its value. Because no one's going to believe you when you say, I've got $1 million penny, without some solid proof. But hey, not all of us have the good fortune of stumbling upon a rare coin like that. But the important takeaway here is that there are plenty of other coins out there with surprising value. So don't go tossing your change without thinking twice. It's a good idea to get into the habit of checking your pennies, nickels, and dimes. You never know when you'll stumble across a hidden gem. So, there you have it. The 1963 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is a legit treasure that could make you rich, if you're lucky enough to find one. And while you're out there searching through your old coin collections or diving into the junk drawer, remember, always keep an eye out for those rare, valuable coins that could be sitting right in front of you. And hey, if you learned something new today, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the crew. We've got plenty more coin tips, strategies, and wild stories coming your way. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting to learn the ropes, I'm here to share everything you need to know to spot that next big score. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and who knows, your next $1 million coin might just be waiting for you in your pocket. Have you ever thought a penny might be worth more than, well, a penny? Stick around, because today, we're diving into a mind-blowing discovery about a 1980 Lincoln penny that could actually be worth, drumroll please, millions of dollars. I know, you're probably thinking, a penny? $1 million? Is this guy for real? Well, yes, my friend. I promise you're going to want to check the back of your couch cushions after this one, so grab a seat, kick back, and let's talk about why you might just be holding on to a small fortune without even realizing it. All right, let's get to it. We're talking about the infamous 1980 no mint mark penny. Now, I know what you're thinking. 1980? That's not exactly ancient history. Where's the silver, the gold, the shiny stuff that makes my heart race? Trust me, I get it. But sometimes, it's the smallest and least flashy things that hold the biggest surprises. You see, most of the 1980 pennies that were minted came with a mint mark, that little D or S or P on them, depending on where they were made. But there was a small, rare batch that didn't have a mint mark at all. That's the one we're after. Now, here's where the plot thickens. These no-mint mark 1980 pennies are so rare that they're practically like unicorns in the world of coins. There's only a small number of these pennies out there, and because of their rarity, some collectors are willing to pay millions of dollars for one in good condition. Yeah, you heard me right, millions. You might be wondering, how in the world does a penny, something you probably toss around without a second thought, become so valuable? Well, this coin is considered a mule error, a mistake in the minting process. It was supposed to have a mint mark, but for whatever reason, a handful of these coins slipped through the cracks without one. And as we all know, when something's rare, it's suddenly way more valuable. Now, I know, you're probably thinking, but I don't have one of those. This guy's just hyping things up. Well, hang on. Let me tell you a little story about how a coin I found turned out to be worth way more than I ever imagined. A few years back, I was cleaning out some old jars of coins I had laying around. You know, the ones you just toss in there, thinking you'll get around to sorting them someday. So, I'm flipping through some old pennies, barely paying attention, when I come across a 1980 penny. I thought, oh, look, a regular penny from the 80s. Nothing special. But then I noticed something weird. No mint mark. I thought, could this be it? The excitement was real, folks. So, I took it to a professional coin dealer just to make sure I wasn't dreaming. Turns out, it wasn't $1 million penny, but it was still worth way more than any of my other pennies. The moral of the story? Always double-check your coins before you toss them in the jar. So, now you're probably wondering, how do you know if you've got one of these rare 1980 no mint mark pennies? The answer's simple. Check the coin closely. If you find a 1980 penny and it has no mint mark, make sure it's in good condition. The better the condition, the higher the value. But be careful. There are a lot of fakes out there, and that's where things can get tricky. Always have your coins authenticated by a professional if you're not sure. And here's the kicker. Even if you don't have the elusive 1980 no mint mark penny, that doesn't mean your coin collection is a lost cause. There are plenty of other coins that are worth way more than you'd think. Trust me, I've learned the hard way. I once found a coin I thought was just a dull old penny, only to realize it was worth far more than I expected. So, whether you're digging through your change jar, flipping through old coin rolls, or just casually going through your pockets after a long day, keep an eye out for that 1980 no mint mark penny. It might not be a guaranteed millionaire maker, but hey, you could be sitting on something special. If you've got a coin collection, or you're just starting to get into the hobby, I've got plenty more tips and tricks for you to uncover hidden treasures. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos on coins that could be worth serious money. Remember, it's not always the flashy gold and silver that's worth the most. Sometimes, it's the small, seemingly insignificant pennies that hold the biggest surprises.